Our friends in Limerick, they are restoring a thatched cottage, and they're going to be using the entire property as kind of a local food hub, and having courses and
they have restored the cottage. The cottage is restored.
Yeah, they're going to be actually, it's going to be rented out soon.
Yeah, now they're working on the stone barn, which is where the events will take place and things. But they put on just a wonderful, wonderful meal. Well, first of all, she had prepared this fantastic drink with a special gin that her friend that she knows makes, and was it fruit in it and everything?
It had elderberry and strawberries, and all stuff that she had collected locally.
Yeah, mixed with champagne and
this gin, which is Bertha's Revenge, which is no longer going to be made. So if you see it on the shelves anywhere, this is going to be your last chance to get it, because it won't be available after this season.
Nice. And then what we did is we made butter with her, and it was so much fun. Outside, she had this beautiful table set up with white tablecloth and the jars, and all the visitors, they all shook the cream.
Yeah, and I grew up on a dairy farm, but I never made butter that way before. And it is a case where you just keep shaking it, and then it turned solid. And she showed us the whole process.
Pouring it into the cheesecloth and then rinsing the butter and everybody poured theirs in, and they also had an old daisy churn that they used. And then it was washed and patted and formed into little pats.
And then added salt to it.
And salt, and then that's the butter we used for the dinner.
And the dinner was fantastic.
It was the most traditional dinner you could get in Ireland. Bacon and cabbage. Wow.
And bacon in Ireland is not like American bacon. No. It's more of a pork roast or pork loin.
Almost like a ham. To me, it always looks like ham, but it's boiled pork.
Yeah.
Sliced with...
And cabbage in Ireland is not like our kind of sauerkraut cabbage. This is more of a leafy green.
It almost reminds me of like a Napa cabbage or something, where it's kind of leafy. And then she had homemade parsley sauce, which is poured on top of the new potatoes that they had.
Yep, and the potatoes were grown in their hoop house that they had, so they were ahead of the actual potatoes. So we were able to, everything was fresh. Everything was so the pork was even raised just on a farm down the road. Like, imagine that. Like, everything was that fresh.
Like it used to be years ago, even in the States, when food came from about 20 miles away.
And this was an opportunity for her and her husband and her son, who is a freshman at Trinity College, but he was home for the summer, so he helped as well. And it was great because they were able to just, they put on just a fantastic display, great meal.
Beautiful setting.
Yeah.
You've got to you'll show pictures of the table, won't you?
I should have some video. And
it's not I took some, but they're really great.
I think our guests basically said like that was their favorite thing.
Yeah.
And we did lots of great stuff, but they were like, that is a unique experience. And then afterwards, Richard took us around on a local tour, and that was really nice because it was local history. There was the house of a guy who I'm blanking out here. William O'Brien, something like that. I'll put it on
the screen. He was
a
patriot, I think, from the 1798 rebellion, and we went to his tomb, and he saw his tomb. And it's just out in a field. It was like kind of tucked away. There's an old abandoned church. And
the church kind of had this haunted kind of feel to it, and it was still beautiful, and just it was very, very nice to see that.
Yeah.
Then we went to the site that the Arda chalice was recovered, and the Arda chalice is one of the treasures of Ireland.
Yeah.
It was found in a potato field.
This guy was digging potatoes, and he dug down and hit the hoard. They call it the hoard. It was the Arda chalice and other things too.
Yeah.
But it must have been buried.
They suspect that some monks were hiding it from probably Norman invaders.
Yeah, Viking invaders.
And so they were likely hiding it and buried it, and then it was found, there's a couple hundred years later.
No, more than a couple hundred. This was like discovered in the 1940s or 50s.
Yeah, so hundreds of years later, and so it is one of the treasures of Ireland.
Yeah,
it's up there. Like, you have the Book of Kells, you have the Tara brooch, you have the Arda chalice, and the Cross of Cong. Those are ones that I always think of as really great historic things that were recovered in Ireland. So it was really nice to see there, and they have a greenway. In Ireland, greenways are bicycle paths. It's kind of like a rails to trails type of thing, and they are so nice because it allows you to be on these biking in Ireland without having to deal with the roads. And the reason why I say that the roads are great for biking in Ireland, except for traffic and all the curves, it can be dangerous and stressful. I've biked here, and coming around corners and having a truck coming at you or any of that kind of stuff, being on a greenway, I was in the Greenway in Galway. That was just so relaxing, so nice, and they have little off ramps, or not off ramps, but you know they have little signs that say, you know, there's food at this stop, or there's a pub here.
Yeah. And they're connecting, and they're starting to connect them all too. Like I think the
Limerick one is going to connect up with the one in Kerry.
And so they're just.
And I thought there was thoughts of that connecting to another one.
I think they will eventually, but it's a great country to bike in on the greenways. I mean, it's a great country to bike, but it is a bit treacherous on the roads because, you know, like what we've seen in 30 some years, the change in the amount of traffic is quite different.
Yeah, and there's a lot more traffic on the roads than there were 30 years ago. So yeah, it's been amazing.